So today I would like to talk about reading. Because reading is this thing in life that just has brought me so much joy and happiness. And I honestly think I would not want to be alive without it. And it honestly pains me to see this generation of kids and teenagers that just absolutely loathe reading. Because they are forced to read books like the Iliad and the Odyssey and other really long, complicated stories like that for school before they've even gotten to enjoy reading. Because honestly, those are a couple books that you cannot enjoy unless you enjoy reading in general. And so a lot of the time, I'll just be sitting in my school library or out in the lobby of my school or outside, and people will be like, "Ew, why are you reading? Reading is gross." Or people will be like, "How in the world do you have time for reading when you have that much homework?" And it kind of strikes me that schools nowadays overload kids with so much homework and extra reading that they don't have time to just sit down and enjoy a book. But for kids who actually do enjoy reading, like me, those 10, 20, 30 minutes of your life that you find to actually sit down and read can be stretched into a millennia and can tell the most beautiful story ever. And so a lot of kids nowadays just view reading as something that is connected to school. Like reading is something you do at school or for school. And they think that authors, when they sit down to write a book, have this intent of, oh, I'm just going to write this book so schools will make kids read it and it will torture their lives. But really, I don't think there's been a single author that's ever written a book that they don't want to just be enjoyed by anyone. And because of this, there are so many kids who just don't know the joy of reading. They don't know the pain of finishing a book. They don't know the longing of waiting for the next book in a series. They don't know the joy of finding people who love the same things as you. I mean, there are so many stories that just bind us all together. Stories like Harry Potter or The Lord of the Rings or even Twilight that just kind of bring us together and give us friends and people that have the same interests as us, who have the same longings as us, who just want to sit around for hours and discuss literature. And you know what? The book that finally gets a child to love reading is the most amazing thing in the world. I mean, kids who hate reading, if you will read a book, I don't care what book it is. If Twilight is the book that gets you to love reading and gets you to enjoy reading and that brings you into this community of readers, then I will personally go up and thank Stephenie Meyer for writing it. And you won't like everything. Not every book is for every person. I mean, a lot of people don't like Twilight, but some people do, and why do I keep using that as an example? To the people who do like Twilight, you have the right to like the books that you like. It doesn't matter if other people think they're well written or not. It doesn't matter if they're even proven to be well written or not. It just matters that you enjoy the story and that the story sparks something within you that just lets you enjoy it. And reading, it's not just this enjoyable thing. It literally saves lives. I mean, I know so many people with depression or anxiety or other things like that who use reading as an escape, as a coping mechanism for what they are feeling. And honestly, if it weren't for reading, I wouldn't have come to know the friends that I know and the friends that I have today. I wouldn't even be doing this video blog because reading is what sparked my interest and started me into this whole fandom craziness that I sometimes wish I never got sucked into. But most of the time it's just great. And there's nothing I would want to do to change anything. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is just read. I don't care who you are or what book it is or what books you even like. Because once you sit down and find that book that you can just connect with, that brings you into this world of reading, it changes your life. And it will bring you hours and hours of enjoyment. And that enjoyment doesn't necessarily come in just reading. It comes with connecting other people who love to read and who love the books you like. It comes to these amazing discussions and debates about literature that can't really be described by words. And honestly, if you read, you will always find that one friend who will just go to a bookstore with you, and you will sit in the aisles of books for hours, just picking out books, and then sit there and just read for hours on end, and it just never gets old. And for those of you who do like reading, or for those of you who don't, here are some books that you should try. Divergent by Veronica Roth. The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Everlost by Neal Shusterman. In fact, actually, any book by Neal Shusterman. He is an amazing writer. The Maximum Ride series. And this does not have a cover. The City of Ember. And Peter and the Starcatchers by Dave Barry and Ridley Pearson. So, those are just a few of the many amazing books out there. In fact, by a few, I mean those were the 6 that I first saw on my bookshelf, so I just grabbed those.